You can't write me up. This is my father's badge. 20-year-old Brandon Blake holds the captain's shield in his left hand like a pass. The metal plate reflects the fluorescent light, and Blake waits for the officer to understand. At this moment, Judge Frank Caprio sets down his pen and, Mr. Blake, this court is not run on borrowed rank. Do you understand the charges against you? I understand this is being blown out of proportion. That's not what I asked. His lawyer, Martin Chong, stands calmly. Your Honor, this is a domestic dispute that has escalated unnecessarily. My client is prepared to pay the associated fines and resolve this matter today. Mr. Chong, sit down. This court is not a payment portal. The words echo quietly but harshly in the courtroom. Martin Chong hesitates at first, but then sits. Caprio taps his pen once. Officer Russo, confirm that the body camera audio is audible. Yes, Your Honor. Good. Because in this video you are about to watch, you will witness what happens when someone tries to use a badge like a coupon. The officer steps forward, case file 24 to 10112. Commonwealth vs. Brandon Marcus Blake. Charges, stopping and standing in a marked fire lane. Refusal to obey a lawful order. Using the position of a police officer to intimidate and threaten a change of duty. Improper possession and display of law enforcement identification not issued to the driver. Traffic and Patrol Officer Jason Morales issued the citation on Monday at 11:19 a.m. Then Caprio leans forward. Mr. Blake, did you receive a copy of the citation at the scene? I got it. Did you read it? I looked at it. Not the same thing. Mr. Chong, is your client prepared to address these charges in their entirety today? Martin Chong stands up, this time more cautiously. Your Honor, we are prepared to pay the fines and proceed. My client has no prior record. Counselor, I did not ask about your client's record. I asked if he is prepared to address the facts. Now, sit down. Caprio turns another page. There's a note here, a campus parking warning from 8 months ago. Mr. Blake parked in an emergency vehicle zone during a university event and received a written warning. It's not a criminal matter, but a context for judgment. Mr. Blake, what happened in that incident? Brandon shrugs. Campus security was being overly technical. I was only there for 20 minutes. The warning states you refused to move until campus police were called. This isn't a penalty for today. This is a habit. Martin Chong tries his luck again. Your Honor, my client admits he could have handled Monday's situation better. He is here to take responsibility by paying the fines. Mr. Chong, paying a fine teaches nothing except how to swipe a card. I want to understand what happened. Mr. Blake, walk me through Monday morning. Brandon exhales, audibly frustrated. I was running errands on Westminster Street. I stopped for exactly 2 minutes to grab a coffee in front of Kim's Market. There was a fire lane, but nobody was using it. A cop came and made something out of nothing. I showed him my father's badge to explain I wasn't just some random person causing trouble. He kept writing anyway. You parked in a marked fire lane. For 2 minutes. No one was even using it. Mr. Blake, fire lanes are not optional based on activity level. They are for emergencies. Let me read a line from the written statement of Harold Kim, the shop owner. The delivery truck could not pull up. We had an elderly customer waiting for her prescription. Brandon waves his hand. That's not my fault. The delivery guy could have waited. Martin Chong interjects, objecting, Your Honor, we are introducing an irrelevant hardship that is not germane to the citation. Counselor. A blocked fire lane is a blocked fire lane. The obstruction of access is germane. That is the harm. Caprio turned to the officer standing by the side wall and, Officer Morales, please read your narrative into the record. Officer Jason Morales stepped forward, calm and clear, and began to read. at 11:17 a.m., I observed a white sedan parked in the marked fire lane in front of Kim's Market on Westminster. The vehicle was unoccupied. At 11:19 a.m., the driver, later identified as Brandon Blake, exited the store holding a cup of coffee. I approached him, stated that he was parked in a fire lane, and needed to move immediately. He said, "I'll move in a minute." I explained I was issuing a citation, nonetheless. He produced a law enforcement badge, specifically a captain's shield, and stated, "This is my dad's. You can't write me a ticket." When I continued to write the citation, he stated, "Write it, I'll have you working school crossings." I asked for his license and registration. He refused, saying, "My father is on patrol." "Do you know who I am?" Caprio pauses. "Officer Morales, did you perceive these statements as intimidation?" "Yes, Your Honor." Brandon leans forward. "It was a taunt. I was annoyed." "Let's listen." Officer Russo, play the body camera audio. Just the relevant exchange. A brief hiss of static. Then Brandon's voice, sharp and cutting, "Write it, I'll have you working school crossings." Caprio looks at his clerk. "Miss Reyes, did anyone contact the court or department about this case before today?" She checks a log. "Yes, Your Honor. 2 calls and 1 voicemail, all from Captain Blake's office at the Providence Police Department." "What are the timestamps?" "First call at 11:41 a.m., second at 12:08 p.m., voicemail at 12:23 p.m. Play the voicemail." A man's steady voice plays, "This is calling from Captain Blake's office regarding a small traffic matter involving my son. Case number 24 to 10112. I'm looking to resolve this quietly before it proceeds. Please return this call." Martin Chong stands. "Your Honor, my client can't control what his father's office does. This is prejudicial." Overruled. "We need to note any outside pressure when it happens. I'm not accusing anyone of a crime, just recording the facts." Brandon shifts in his seat. "I didn't ask him to call." "Maybe not, but someone thought it would help. Here's the timeline: traffic stop at 11:19 a.m., first call from your father's office at 11:41 a.m. That's 22 minutes later." Caprio looks at the clerk again. "Is Mr. Harold Kim available to give a brief statement?" "He is, Your Honor, by phone." "Put him through." A man's voice, steady and matter-of-fact, fills the speaker. "Thank you, Your Honor. I own Kim's Market in Westminster. That fire lane is critical for deliveries and emergency access. Monday morning, a vehicle blocked it for at least 15 minutes. My delivery driver couldn't pull in. We had an elderly customer waiting for her prescription. She has mobility issues and can't walk far. That lane is for ambulances, not latte runs. Fire lanes are pre-cleared emergencies." Brandon mutters something under his breath. Caprio catches it. "Mr. Blake, if you have something to say it clearly. I said it wasn't 15 minutes. Mr. Kim's statement says it was. Officer Morales's timestamp indicates that you exited the store at 11:19, and the citation was issued at 11:24. This is a documented time. Mr. Kim, thank you. Your statement is on the record." The line clicks off. Caprio picks up another document. "Miss Reyes, this is a screenshot of a text message from the prosecution. Can you read it? From Brandon Blake to an unnamed contact. Timestamp 11:23 a.m. Monday. Got stopped. Used Dad's badge. He said he'll fix it." Brandon's jaw tightens. "That was private. It was allowed in evidence. Mr. Blake, let's look at the timeline: traffic stop at 11:19 a.m., your text at 11:23 a.m., first call from your father's office at 11:41 a.m. That's a clear sequence. Influence doesn't erase actions. You may not have asked, but you expected it. You told someone not to worry because your father would fix it. That's not just frustration. That's entitlement. Martin Chung stands again, more slowly. Your Honor, because of Captain Blake's public role, we ask that the rest of this hearing be private. Public proceedings could affect his position and cause tension in the department. Mr. Chung, fairness means staying on the record. Caprio looks at Brandon. I'm going to ask you 3 yes or no questions. Did you park in the fire lane? Yes. Did you refuse Officer Morales's request for your license and registration? I was going to give it to him. That's not a no. Did you refuse? Yes. Did you show a captain's badge and use your father's rank to threaten Officer Morales's assignment? Brandon hesitates. I showed the badge to explain who I was. That's not a no. Did you use his rank and threaten his assignment? Yes, Your Honor. This feels targeted. Brandon's voice is tense. Other people park in fire lanes and don't end up in court. Mr. Blake, this isn't about your character. It's about correcting a pattern. Others may park there, but not everyone waves a captain's badge and threatens an officer's job. You're not targeted. You're being held accountable. Martin Chung shifts in his seat. Your Honor, Mr. Blake is a college student with no criminal record. One mistake shouldn't define his future. I agree. That's why I'm treating this as a learning opportunity, not a judgment of character. The campus advisory was a warning. This citation is a consequence. If we don't address it now, the next time could be worse, like a firefighter unable to reach a building because someone used authority they didn't earn. The room is silent for several seconds. No one moves or speaks. Brandon looks down at the table. Martin Chang's pen is still. Officer Morales stands by the wall. Caprio finally says, accountability is quiet so the truth can be heard. Here is my decision. The evidence supports all 4 charges. Officer Morales's account is credible and backed by body cam audio, a photo of the fire lane, the text message, and the clerk's call log. Mr. Blake parked in a marked fire lane, blocking emergency access. He refused to follow a lawful order to show identification. He used law enforcement credentials that weren't his and used his father's position in a way Officer Morales saw as a threat. He expected special treatment because of borrowed authority. Caprio pauses. This court doesn't decide cases based on titles, connections, or family badges. Borrowed authority is still misuse of authority. Mr. Blake, your father's rank doesn't extend to you. Your status doesn't erase harm. The badge isn't a coupon. He turns a page. I also note the earlier campus advisory. That was meant to teach, not punish. You were told that emergency zones matter. You chose not to learn that lesson. Consequences teach what privilege hides. The total fines add up to $610. Stopping and standing in a fire lane is $200. Refusing a lawful order is $150. Intimidation and misuse of authority is $200. Administrative fees are $60. Brandon exhales. Caprio raises his hand. I'm not done. I'm suspending $300 of that total if you fully and promptly complete a restorative accountability plan. If you finish it, that part is forgiven. If not, you pay the full amount. Here's what you must do. First, write real apologies to Officer Jason Morales and Harold Kim. No form letters or PR statements. The apologies must say what you did and what you learned. Deliver them in person if both agree. If not, mail them and the court will confirm receipt. Second, complete 80 hours of community service with the Providence Police Department Community Engagement and Youth Safety Division. You'll answer phones, help with walk-ins, and do school outreach. No PR tasks or photo ops. The division commander will report your hours to the court. Third, help with 2 school talks called Respect the Badge, Don't Borrow Authority. Listen to officers explain how it feels when a badge is used against them. Fourth, write and record a 60-second public service announcement titled, "Badges are for duty, not for discounts." The court will review the script. No family names or branding, just the truth. Fifth, complete a course on traffic authority and the ethics of law enforcement families. File the certificate with the court. Sixth, write a 700-word reflection on borrowed power versus earned respect. No slogans or fluff, just the truth. Caprio sets down his pen. Mercy isn't a discount. It's a contract. Additionally, I'm making the following recommendations on the record to the Municipal Court Administration, the Traffic Division, and the Providence Police Department. 1. Establish an ex parte influence log for all cases. I'm also making these recommendations to the Municipal Court Administration, the Traffic Division, and the Providence Police Department. First, set up an ex parte influence log for all cases. Any off-record contact regarding pending cases should be documented and reported on a weekly basis. Second, require a supervisor's cosign or recusal if a command-level officer contacts any staff about an active citation. Third, establish an anti-retaliation policy for officers involved in traffic stops with relatives in law enforcement. Officers who report intimidation or misuse of their badges should be protected from retaliation. Fourth, develop a guide for escalating fire lane enforcement. Repeat violations or those involving claims of entitlement or badge display should lead to toe-first actions. Fifth, provide an education module for teens and college students about the legal and ethical risks of misusing law enforcement connections. Honor, I'm Captain Marcus Blake. I'd like to handle this matter internally. Caprio doesn't stand. Captain, this is an active hearing. You're welcome to observe, but I won't discuss the case with you outside the record. With respect, Your Honor, this is a department matter. My son used my credentials. That's an internal discipline issue. Captain, this is not your case to manage. Your rank does not ride up here. Your son has counsel. He has a voice. This stays public. Department discipline is yours. Judicial transparency is mine. Brandon interrupts. Dad, stop. I did this, not you. Captain Blake turns toward him, surprised. Caprio's gaze sharpens. Captain, your authority ends at that door. Step back and let your son answer for himself. The captain hesitates, then nods and moves to the back row. Over the next 8 weeks, Brandon works through the plan step by step. In the first week, he writes an apology, but the court rejects it. Too much deflection. Not enough accountability. He tries again and improves. Officer Morales agrees to meet him at the station. Their conversation is short, uncomfortable, but necessary. Morales says, "When you waved that badge, you made me afraid of doing my job." That's not sarcasm. That's intimidation. Harold Kim accepts the written apology but doesn't want to meet in person. He emails the court, he named what he did wrong. That's enough. In weeks 2 through 7, Brandon completes 80 hours with the Community Engagement and Youth Safety Division. He answers calls, schedules school safety visits, and helps with walk-in hours. No cameras or social media posts. One officer tells him, respect goes both ways. You can't demand it with someone else's badge. In week 6, he helps with 2 school talks and listens as officers explain how it feels when their authority is used against them by a relative. One officer says, "Every time someone waves their dad's badge, it makes the next traffic stop harder for me." In week 7, he records the PSA. The first version is too polished and vague, so the court sends it back. He records it again, simply and honestly. The second draft is approved. The compliance course takes 2 more weeks, and he finishes it without complaint. The record is clear, 80 hours completed, 2 talks done, 1 PSA approved, and 1